Good evening, this is News Mongolia. I'm Sasankort in the MNB World studio. For our top stories, the Government of Mongolia has adopted a resolution to support the national 1 billion trees campaign. Prime Minister L.Oyun-Erdene receives Tapan Mishra, the UN resident coordinator for Mongolia. COVID-19, 777 cases, 10 additional deaths confirmed. For other news, stay tuned. The Ministry of Health updates on the current COVID-19 status in Mongolia.
In the past 24 hours, 775 new cases were confirmed. Unfortunately, 10 patients, 5 women and 5 men, all with underlying health conditions, died of COVID-19 complications. All new cases were confirmed domestically, out of which 571 were confirmed in Ulaanbaatar and 206 were confirmed in the rural provinces. At hospitals nationwide, 9,331 COVID-19 patients are being treated. Out of them, 3,759 show mild symptoms of illness and 205 are in critical condition. Additionally, over 21.2 thousand patients are being treated at home under supervision. As of now, over 2.1 million people, or 66% of the population, have had 2 doses of a COVID-19 vaccine, and 16% of the population has received the booster shot so far.
The Government of Mongolia has adopted a resolution to support the national 1 billion trees campaign. In connection to this resolution, government officials have provided some updates, details as follows.
This campaign will run over a period of 10 years. It will cost a lot of money and it will need a lot of manpower. Provincial mayors and city administration officials should realize not that just planting trees during spring and autumn is not enough. Even more important is the watering and taking care of these trees. For many years we've tried to plant trees, but most of these trees didn't survive for more than 1 year. If you aren't careful, this might happen again. Experts should work hard to prevent this kind of situation from reoccurring. I've been working on planting 300 trees for over a decade now. In the first year, just like an operation for an organ transplant, the newly planted trees fight for the life and death, as some of them don't even start growing. Even if these trees survive, they need to be taken care of, since it usually takes 1 to 3 years for any tree to settle in the soil. Minister Erdene should carefully decide what trees should be planted in the Mongolian environment. We have made a request in submitting a resolution on organizing the location and time for the planting of trees. Secondly, we have made a request to the Ministry of Education and Science to clarify the arrangement regarding the following nationwide operations, clarifying the issue of preparing 1,000 students and teachers, which is a matter of the utmost importance, organizing training in towns, provincial capitals and districts within the first quarter of next year, informing the population about the significance of this national 1 billion trees campaign and actions that need to be taken within this framework, providing a professional program for how to plant trees, protect them and take care of them. And finally, provide people with accurate information. Thirdly, releasing and implementing an overall guidance on technology, methodology and standards for the forestry and water sectors, and at the same time improve the legal environment. The Government of Mongolia is adopting this resolution today. The Agency for Deforestation and Forest Research will start operation next year. Mayors of provinces and city administration officials should work correspondingly and assemble a highly educated workforce. Through this procedure, there will have to be changes made in the work performance of provincial, capital and city mayors. The issue of qualifying a province or a district which will take the most successful measures in tree planting, digitalization and waste management for work performance by the government will be reflected in this procedure. These issues will be a part of the 2022 budget. In other words, a province without any pollution or bureaucracy due to the digitalization will receive more supporting the 2022 state budget. All of you probably must have heard about the current direction of the Government of Mongolia. Provinces now have more authority through this year's state budget. We have decided to transition into this new system in 2022, where more income will provide more investment assistance from the government.
Thank you for staying with us on MNB World. Now let's take a look at Mongolia's current affairs.
The Mongolian PM L.Oyun-Erdene received and met with the UN Resident Coordinator Tapan Mishra yesterday and discussed the strategic cooperation framework for the 2023 to 2027 period co-created by UN Mongolia and the Government of Mongolia. The full vaccination rate in Mongolia is at 66% and 16% of the population has received the booster shot. The PM highlighted that Mongolia's vaccination rates are higher compared to many other countries and thanked Tapan Mishra for assisting in the donation of 1 million doses of Pfizer vaccines through COVAX. He then mentioned that a letter asking for consultation on children's vaccination was sent to BioNTech, and he asked the UN Resident Coordinator to support it through COVAX. The Prime Minister noted that due to the high vaccination rate, Mongolian people are gradually returning back to a normal life. The Prime Minister also spoke about Mongolia's willingness to extend its contribution to the UN's missions and further cooperation with the UN. He highlighted the example of the President of Mongolia's initiative to plant 1 billion trees in Mongolia, as he outlined during the 76th General Assembly of the United Nations. He added that the initiative is the contribution from the Mongolian people in order to help reduce desertification, land degradation, as well as climate change, and to ensure the ecological sustainability and the longevity of our Earth. The Prime Minister added that as part of this initiative, the Mongolian government will introduce more environmentally friendly practices and technologies in its activities. Moreover, the Prime Minister briefly introduced a number of new policies to strengthen governance and fight corruption. In return, the UN Resident Coordinator Tapan Mishra extensively explained the ongoing process of documentation of the Strategic Cooperation Framework for 2023 to 2027. This document will aid the implementation of long and medium-term developmental policies of the Mongolian government, to which both sides agreed.
Young people from arts and cultural organizations gathered for a discussion. They talked about the problems faced by artists participating in international competitions.
Dancer Erdene has participated in 7 international competitions this year, has won 3 prizes and 2 special prizes at the international solo dance competitions. As a result, he became eligible to become an international dance teacher. However, the average cost of participating in one competition is about 15 million Mongolian tukraks. Erdene is currently preparing to participate in the International Dance Olympics in Germany in February 2022.
I entered the competition and passed the first round. When I returned to the hotel, I found my clothes at the door of my hotel room. It was very difficult and I participated as if I was under some psychological pressure, but I still won. There was a time when I entered the competition and passed the stage, but I couldn't pay for my hotel stay. Many dancers, coaches, and teachers from many countries are taking part in international competitions. Mongolian dancers are facing problems with their travel expenses, so they can only dream of going together as a team.
Artists like Erdene, who would love to show off their skills internationally, are raising this issue in today's discussion.
You can only go for help, barter, or somehow pay for it yourself. There are many shortcomings in this regard, or you just can't take out a loan. Usually, the artists have to solve all these issues themselves.
This year, 6 singers participated in the International Opera Competition, and the State Academic Opera and Ballet provided financial support. Of course, you have to dance and act very well. We spoke about how to prepare artists to go to international competitions and represent Mongolia. Today, we talked about how to train artists in comprehensively, ethically, aesthetically, and academic way, as well as language training. The law on culture, which will come into force next year, will provide special funding for artists participating in international competitions. It is expected that this will be the biggest help for artists who want to participate in international professional competitions.
Now let's take a look at the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Here comes the weather forecast for the world's major cities. This is it for today. Thank you for staying with us. We'll see you tomorrow with more news and updates. Have a nice evening. Goodbye.